Once upon a time, my family and I went on a camping trip in the beautiful woods. It was a sunny day, and we were so excited to explore nature. We packed our camping gear, tents, and sleeping bags. I even brought my favorite stuffed animal, Mr. Bear, for the adventure. As we drove to the campsite, I looked out the window and saw tall trees and a sparkling river. It was like a picture from a storybook. When we arrived at the campsite, we set up our tents near a clear, bubbling stream. The sound of the water was so calming. My dad taught me how to build a campfire safely. We gathered sticks and logs and made a cozy fire pit. We roasted marshmallows on sticks and made gooey, delicious s'mores. They were the best I had ever tasted. As the sun began to set, we sat around the campfire and told stories. I shared a funny story about Mr. Bear, and everyone laughed. When it was time to sleep, I climbed into my sleeping bag inside the tent. The night sky was filled with twinkling stars, and it felt like we were sleeping under a blanket of lights. But then, we heard a rustling sound outside the tent. My heart raced as I wondered what it could be. My dad reassured me, it's probably just some friendly forest animals. They're curious about our campfire. I listened closely and heard the gentle chirping of crickets and the hooting of an owl. It made me feel safe and cozy. The next morning, I woke up to the chirping of birds. I unzipped the tent and stepped outside to see the forest in the morning light. We cooked a delicious breakfast over the campfire, with eggs and bacon sizzling in a pan. It smelled so good, and I was hungry after a night of camping. After breakfast, we decided to go on a nature hike. We followed a trail that led us deeper into the woods. Along the way, we saw colorful butterflies, interesting bugs, and even a friendly squirrel. I felt like a nature explorer on a grand adventure. We also found a clear, sparkling pond. I dipped my toes in the water, and it felt cool and refreshing. My little brother even tried skipping stones across the pond. As we continued our hike, we stumbled upon a hidden waterfall. It was breathtaking, with water cascading down rocks into a pool below. We sat by the waterfall and listened to the soothing sound of rushing water. It was like nature's own lullaby. We spent the day exploring the woods, playing games, and having a picnic near the stream. I felt so close to nature and loved every moment. As the sun began to set again, we returned to our campsite. My mom and dad taught me how to make shadow animals on the tent wall with our flashlight. I made a rabbit, and my dad made a flying bird. It was a magical moment, and I felt like I was in my own shadow puppet show. That night, I fell asleep to the gentle sounds of the forest. It was a peaceful and unforgettable camping trip. The next morning, we packed up our camping gear and said goodbye to the woods. I gave Mr. Bear a big hug and whispered, "Thank you for the adventure, Mr. Bear." As we drove back home, I looked out the window one last time at the tall trees and sparkling river. I knew I would always treasure the memories of our unforgettable camping trip. Camping in the woods had been a wonderful experience. It taught me to appreciate the beauty of nature, the joy of spending time with family, and the magic of a starry night by the campfire. And that's the story of our unforgettable camping trip, a journey filled with adventure, laughter, and the wonders of the great outdoors.